All right. Hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the show. Happy Easter Monday, right? How was your Easter? Already got people saying hello in the comments wherever you're watching from. I love seeing your comments. It makes me feel like I'm not alone. If you say something in the comments to let me know you're there, I appreciate that. Happy Easter Monday. Happy Easter, or however you celebrate, don't celebrate. I just hope you got to enjoy the weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Definitely looked a whole lot different again. Don't need to talk about that. We already know what we're not supposed to do and what we're supposed to do, and we just got to keep doing it, right? Going over to the comments there, I'll say hello to my human gas buddy, Jesse Waterfield. Hello, Jesse. Thanks for being here today. And hello, sir. Oh, you're off today. I feel like you run that station, man. Like, how does that station run without you being there? For those of you who don't know, Jesse he works at the Petro Canada over at London Road in Finch. So if you're ever that way to get gas and you have to go in to pay for your gas, he'll be the guy wearing the Show with David Burrows mask. I appreciate your support, Jesse. You know that. That's awesome. I hope you're enjoying your time off because you do. I know you work a lot, right? Hey, Werp. My friend Ryan Werschler's out there as well. And are you off today, Ryan, or are you enjoying the show live from work? You're on a break or something. I don't know. Are you off today? Hope you got to enjoy the Easter. I see that you did. I did get your picture. I appreciate you sending me the message. You were enjoying your Easter for sure. And I see Roblox. I never know that. I know that's somebody I know. Happy Easter to you. I see Roblox. But what's your real name? I know I recognize the, what do you call that? A handle, not a handle. When I was to CB radio, I used to be a CB radio guy, and then I got my ham radio license. Ryan's laughing right now. We had a handle. That's what we call it. We called it handle, right? We got a handle. How about it, good buddy? You guys are laughing because that was a long time ago. Back in the day, somebody who might be watching, you might understand just exactly what that's all about. My Facebook's sending me. Why am I getting all these messages? I can't talk right now because I'm doing my show. Ryan says no, he's at Blue Water Health. Oh, okay. And thank you, Ryan, and to you and all the frontline workers there, and your Blue Water Health today. The vaccination centers are up in Point Edward and Clearwater. I'm going to try to get somebody from who's in charge of that, and we're going to try to get some updates on that. We may be doing some more closer work with those involved with the vaccination centers to keep you informed as to what's happening there. So thanks, Ryan, for showing up, saying hello. Kate's working. She's the boss. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know Kate. All right. Well, you got to have a day off, right, Jess? Somebody said to me the other day, like, I started doing some other things. I'm always adding to projects that I'm doing, right? And somebody said, boy, you're going to need another day in the week. You know what? There's 24 hours in a day. And the only difference is how you use them and I use them, I guess. I don't know. But we got 24 hours in a day. I do sleep. The internet is a magical thing. It makes you look like you're in a lot of places. Sometimes you're not really. I do keep myself busy. But the summertime's coming along, right? So I've already been out on the motorcycle a little bit, enjoying that. And so I teach part-time as well, right? So then when like the end of June comes and I'm done teaching, my summer's here. I think I back off a little bit, right? All right. Isaac. Oh, okay. Very good, Isaac. Thanks so much for being here today, my friend. Isaac's one of my students. That's great. It's not often I get the students showing up here because we're on Facebook, but he's on YouTube, as you can see there. So that's probably why he found it there. Thanks. Hope you got to enjoy the Easter there. I'll tell you, you've heard me say it before, and I'll keep saying it. There's a lot of greatness in this community. People supporting each other, the local supporting. There's just so much great support out there in this community. Jennifer and I had to step out for a little bit yesterday. And when we came home, this was on our doorstep. On our porch, I should say. We came home, and let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you. Look at this. So I got milk duds in there. I'm not supposed to have the chocolate, but I did get into them. There's like a mug in there, and there was some soap, and there's like a little plant you can grow, and a mask, and did I say soap? Yeah, and I think there was a little book in there, little planner, And we came home, and on the top it said, "Just a little sunshine to brighten your day." And it was not signed by anybody. There was nobody said this is, we had no idea who this came from. And so, of course, Jennifer was like a kid at Christmas morning. I was like, "No, wait, you can't open it yet. I got to take a picture." And anyway, I made her wait. She wasn't happy about that. But anyway, we got it all opened up, and we're like, "Well, who is this from? We want to say thank you, right?" So, okay, we went through all the stuff. It's pretty cool. Like, there's a coffee mug in there. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And we sat down, and then our Facebook started going off, right? And then there was a message. And it was our neighbor, Dottie, and her family had bought these from, there was a fundraiser, I guess, going on. I don't know what organization it was for. There was a fundraiser going on. And she bought a whole bunch of these kits and handed them out. And we had a great day, don't get me wrong, but that just added some more sunshine to it. It really did. And we were just like, so Dottie, if you're watching, thank you so much. We did discover who did it, and we did thank her. But if you're watching again right now, Dottie, thank you so much. It's just cool, like stuff like that. It's tiny little things you can do for maybe a neighbor you've never talked to. We do talk. She's we call her our egg lady. They have chickens. And their chickens lay eggs, and every once in a while they're sitting on our doorstep. The eggs, not the chickens. And it's just good to have neighbors like that, right? So thank you so much to Dottie and her family. They really are a wonderful family. Yeah, it's very cool. And now I'm hungry because I want those milk duds, even though I can't have them yet. All right, back to the comments. Jesse, the handle can also be called, a stage name. Okay. I don't know. Happy Easter Monday. Carl, watching all the way from Oshawa, Ontario. Thank you. 73s to you as well, Carl. You fellow ham radio operators will know what I'm talking about. Happy Monday from Danny Cacciamilio. Hope you and the family had a great, we did. Hope you did as well. I mean, for what we could do, right? The kids were able to be here, so that was cool. We didn't get to see all the family we would like to, but thank goodness for FaceTime. Thank goodness for FaceTime. I can say that for sure, right? How would we live without FaceTime or even this right now, bringing the show live to you, right? And Carl says 73 back. And Dana, hello, Dana. Nice to hear from you. Hope you and Jennifer had a happy. We did. Hope you did as well. Hope you're doing well. Love to talk to you soon, Dana. I appreciate you saying hello here. That means a lot. Yeah, so Easter was different for sure, and I just hope you got to enjoy it somehow, right? It's going to be different for a while. No preaching here. You know what I say every week. I ranted off a few weeks ago because I felt I needed to. But as always, check out the guidelines and what's happening at lambtonpublichealth.ca. Great place to get all your accurate information. I call it the gossip information, fake news, whatever. And the city of Sarnia does a great job keeping their website updated right now with the vaccination centers, etc. You can check that out at sarnia.ca. And at the end of the day, social distancing is still a must. We must continue to social distance, of course. Now, I want to give a shout out to our friend, Call the Chef, Chef Vanessa. She had an Easter bunny package for the adults, and it was delicious. And I know she kept very busy. And not only that, she made another trip down to Ohana Landing, the youth transitional housing facility here in Sarnia, and dropped off, her and her daughter dropped off some more treats for those youth that are living at Ohana Landing. And there was some food in there, some meal kits, and of course, some Easter bunny goodies as well. So kudos to you, Vanessa, at Call the Chef. You can find them online at callthechef.ca. If you don't know about Call the Chef yet, they are a local meal kit. So she puts meal kits together. It's all local, including right down to the printing. Local meat, local dairy, local everything in the package. And if you haven't seen the videos where myself and, well, Jennifer was there to guide me, but I'm claiming that I cooked all on my own. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And they are delicious. So you're supporting a local business and you're supporting other local businesses by using that meal kit as well. So thank you to Chef Vanessa for that. Last Monday, I spent some time with our friends with the Sarnia Sting. There was a free webinar that was put together, the Hockey Academy that's put together by the Sarnia Sting. Carolyn Prevost was there talking about coaching and supporting the kids and how parents can get involved. It was really, really good. And they're doing this for the next few weeks as well, this Hockey Academy. And tonight, Monday, if you're watching live, tonight, Monday, and every Monday for the next few weeks. And again, this is free registration. Rico Phillips, he's the Director of Cultural Diversity and Inclusion for the OHL. And he's going to be talking about that particular topic. There's going to be some important conversations that are probably sometimes hard to have. I guess that would be the best way to explain it. And I've signed up again. I'm learning more about hockey, and you can learn about hockey and all these different subjects. They're going to be having some more guests throughout the next few weeks. Simply go to sarniasting.com for the spot to register for free, absolutely free. And it's only 1 hour and very informative. And it's just a Zoom link. You'll be emailed, and you can come in, you can leave anytime. But I'm telling you, if you're interested in hockey, no matter what level, and you want to learn more about what they're doing at the Hockey Academy, this is a great opportunity. I'll be on there tonight watching. It's the one time I go on a live thing and I just sit there and watch. I don't do anything. I take notes. I'll tell you that. I take notes. And we did have General Manager Dylan Sika here last week talking about the Hockey Academy and what's going on with the Sarnia Sting. And of course, I couldn't resist asking the question, as he probably gets asked. I know he gets asked 10, 15 times a day. When are we going to get back playing in the OHL? And, you know, he even chuckled and said, well, I have a standard answer for that right now. We're close. He doesn't know. They don't know any more than what we know. What's out there right now is the conversations are still happening, trying to get that done for sure. But in the meantime, the Sarnia Sting Hockey Academy is a great way to stay in touch and learn more about what they're doing with the coaching and how they're growing and keeping in touch during the pandemic times. And they talk about the careers of the players as well, and how the effect of what's happening there. Everybody's being affected, right? So once again, sarniasting.com to find out more about that. Just before I get to my next guest, I want to talk about win a car. Who wouldn't mind winning a car? And this is a great way to support local again, but it's a local organization, Sarnia Lambton Rebound. Look at that cool car. That's a Camaro. Wow. I had a Camaro way back, but it didn't look that cool. It looked cool at the time. 2021 Chevy Camaro. Second prize is $2,500 cash. Only 1,500 tickets are going to be printed for this. They're $100 a piece. And you can go to Rebound Online to find out more. I was on their website the other day, reboundonline.com. They have supported over 40,000 youth and their families since they began. Wow. So a very important organization for our community and the youth in our community. They have several programs, and they got to keep funding them as well. And here's the way, $100 a ticket. I'm going to get mine after the show, because that's a cool looking car. I just want to park it in my driveway and look at it. I probably want to drive it too. So there's another great way to support local and local organizations. The draw date will be coming up on June the 21st, but don't wait, go and get your tickets for that right now. I'm going to go back to the comments one more time before we go to our first guest and see who's out there. Jesse's got the thumbs up. Oh, Alan, how are you? Alan, you're in Calgary, I believe, Alberta. I can't remember. I'm sorry. And Rebound's an amazing organization. Yes, you're right, Dana. The car color is called Shock. Okay. Oh, yeah, yes. Dana's a part of the organization. And what a coincidence that you're here. I didn't know you were going to be here. That's great. Jay Peckham. I got to give a shout out to my friend Jay Peckham as well. Jay, if you go to sarniasting.com, they had an article. They have Friday Fan Favorites, I think it's called. And Jay Peckham was interviewed by the Sarnia Sting. There's a guy who's been, I think 18 years supporting the Sarnia Sting, and him and his friends have traveled to every OHL arena. Thank goodness you did it before the pandemic. Huge supporter. And it's a great article. I read it the other day. Congratulations, Jay Peckham. And Jay and I, of course, used to talk together at the Sarnia Sting, and we're missing that as well. It's coming back soon. And if we can't go there and play hockey, we'll do something else, I promise. Oh, Manitoba. Right. Thanks, Alan. Very good. All right. Well, let's talk real estate, and we're not trying to buy a house. We're going to talk about the boring stuff, here at House and houses and stuff. We're going to talk about some interesting things about the real estate market and some other things that are happening that you're going to want to learn about, I think. And we're fortunate enough to have Rob Longo. He's the president of the Sarnia Real Estate Board. Thanks for being here, Rob.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're very well. And I didn't mean boring, like real estate's boring. I just meant like, we're not going to get to like, here, buy a house, here's so much of that. We're going to kind of dig in a little deeper than that today.
It's a double-edged sword. You want it to be a little bit exciting, but you don't want it to be too exciting because then it gets stressful. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, certainly it's going to be an interesting conversation. And I have to tell you, when Kathy reached out to me to talk about this and these letters that we're going to talk about eventually, I just got one in my mail the other day, and I've been getting them for quite some time. And for those of you watching, that's a bit of a teaser. We're going to talk about these letters coming in the mail in just a moment. But first, how is the market right now? Is it busy? Is it slow? Or what's happening?
The market's really busy right now. I'm sure everybody's heard that. It's been in the news a lot, and I know it's been the talk of the town for a little bit. It's been really interesting to see as that unfolded over the last year or so. Nobody really knew how that was going to work with the pandemic and everything that was happening.
Yeah.
But the real estate market has been busy here across the province, across the country, and especially in Sarnia Lambton. We're seeing a lot of new people discovering our area, which I think is a really positive thing.
Yeah. So people are coming from, where are they coming from? Just all over? Like, I think we always tend to want to reach out to Toronto and say, oh, is it everybody from Toronto? But they're coming from all over, aren't they?
Yeah, Toronto's always the default. And there is some people coming from Toronto to this way or from the GTA overall. But I think what we're starting to see is the big push is as people leave the Toronto market, they're coming here directly, but they're also going to, Hamilton, Burlington, Kitchener, London, all down the line. And that kind of pushes those people our way too. So we're seeing a little bit of a mix of everywhere. It's not one specific place at this point.
Right. So I guess, would it be fair to say that the pandemic in an ironic sort of way has helped real estate, at least in Sarnia Lambton?
It has, for sure. It has helped in Sarnia Lambton in terms of prices for everybody that lives here. And it has helped in a lot of those outlying areas in Sarnia and Chatham, Windsor, communities like that, right? Everywhere across the board. People are looking, they're spending more time at home. They're looking for more space in their house and outside, more yard space, more space between your neighbors, and outdoor space like parks and beaches and community centers and things like that. And Sarnia has a lot to offer in terms of that, for sure.
Yeah. So, okay, let's you're talking to someone. All I know about real estate is I want to buy a house or I want to sell a house. So at the end of the day, is this a buyer's market or a seller's market right now?
This is definitely a seller's market. So what we would classify as a seller's market is an instance where, the seller has a little bit more control, where they're going to put their home up for sale. There's more demand than there is supply. So, a lot of these houses that we are seeing that are going up for sale, if you've got a good house and it's priced properly, we are seeing a multiple offer scenario where you're seeing more than one person interested in the house. What we would normally see in what we call a balanced market, where things were more even, would be a 3 to 6 month or 3 to 4 month supply in terms of houses on the market. Right now, we're sitting at like about a 0.8, so less than 1 month's inventory on the market at any time. So we're definitely in a strong seller's market, and we've been there for quite some time, over a year.
Right. Well, I know in having conversations, as people do in their own home, about, oh, this is happening and that's happening. Okay, so I bought my house X number of years ago for this much money, and now it's like, so it was 135, and now I could get $300,000 for my house, and that sounds great, but then I got to go somewhere and I got to live somewhere. How does that work out for me?
Yeah, it sounds great until you've got to buy something, right? So
right?
It's a double-edged sword, but the good thing is, as we've seen good price appreciation in the last few years in Sarnia Lambton, that's unlocked a lot of equity for people even going forward. So, where it used to be, if you're selling something, you're going to buy something, you had to save up a lot of money and maybe, bump up your price range when you went to move up in the housing ladder. Now the natural kind of economy has done that with you, where you've built up a lot of equity in your home. You can take that money out when you sell it and use that as your down payment on your next house to kind of move up the chain or move to a different kind of situation, depending on what you're after, right? So it does help, because it just makes things a little bit more fluid in terms of seller's ability. It makes it tough to buy, for sure, because prices have gone up. The good thing is, Sarnia Lambton, I know, we look at the historical prices and we think, that the prices seem very high compared to what it used to be. But when you compare to a lot of those other cities, even Grand Bend, London, Strathroy, Windsor, Chatham, places like that, Sarnia still is very affordable in terms of the housing prices and is lower than most of those communities. And interest rates are at historic lows, so that helps as well in terms of affordability scale for a lot of first-time buyers or young buyers.
Right. Yes. And while the interest rates are low right now, we could probably expect over 4 or 5 years or coming. I mean, there's no crystal ball in this, but do you see that going up in a couple of years, or how does that get figured out?
It's always hard to predict. And like we would have said 2 years ago, who would have known we would be dealing with all this for the last year, right? So it's a hard thing to predict. The nice thing is that the Canadian government has done a really good job of safeguarding anyone that's getting a mortgage the last few years. They've really put a lot of stock into the housing market in terms of safeguards and protections. So as an example, anyone that's bought a home in the last 5 years with a mortgage has been qualifying at a rate of, say, 4.75 to 5.75% interest. So the government's automatically qualifying you at a much higher rate than you're actually paying now, just in case down the road that interest rate does go up. They want to make sure you have the protection that you can still afford to make those payments going forward. You lose your house. So there's a lot of really good safeguards in the place that are going to help to protect those people if the interest rates do start to creep up at any point. Right.
And I've seen a lot of new faces, I guess, if you will, getting into selling real estate. Is this growth a part of seeing those new faces as well, going, hey, I see opportunity, I want to get into that?
Definitely. Everybody, real estate's one of those things that's very interesting to everybody. Everybody's always curious about real estate, talking about real estate, and it can be a really fun and enjoyable business. So there have been a lot of people getting into it, which has been nice to see as well. The real estate market in Sarnia in terms of realtors was typically right around the 200 mark for several years. In terms of number of realtors in Lambton County, we've seen that tick up a little bit now. We're about 250 as of last count. So that's been nice as well to get some new people and some good mix of people, younger people and older people into the business, which is always nice. So
yeah, it's nice to see growth, especially at a time of what we're sitting in right now. So that's a positive thing. Now, with everything and all this goodness comes along, every once in a while, somebody else tries to get their claws in there as well, I guess. And I've got these letters here in front of me, folks, that we're going to talk about. And I've seen them in my mailbox several times. The first time I read one, I read it because I was like, okay, I got to look at that. But then I did a little more research, and I'm glad we're talking about it here today, is these letters that we're talking about where people are coming by and offering cash for my house as is. I don't have to do any cleanup, and they look like a nice handwritten personal letter, but they're photocopied. But when you look a little closer.
Right.
Talk about what this is and how is this, I don't trust this person, I guess, at the end of the day for me. And that kind of holds to why you'd want to deal with somebody professional who's done the work and learned the real estate. Yeah,
just like anything else, there is different aspects and just different sections of the industry. So, for the majority of those letters that you're going to get in your mailbox, and obviously everyone's been getting a lot of them lately, myself included, that's what we would call a real estate wholesaler. So a lot of times what they're doing is they're going to buy your home as is. If it needs repair or needs work or different things like that, they'll take it basically as is, no questions asked. They'll give you a price, which is, typically a reduced price of what the market value. We look at that as almost like a wholesale versus a retail. Same as sort of trading in your car. If you go to trade in your car at the dealership, they're going to give you a little bit less because that's called the wholesale price. They're going to then mark the car up, clean the car up, and put it back out on the market and try to sell it and make a profit, right? Whereas if you sell the car yourself, you can probably get closer to the retail price that the end consumer is paying. That's sort of the best analogy that we have for it. When you're working with a realtor, a local realtor that you know and you trust, they're going to try and get you as much money as you can. That's the retail price. That's the fair market value that we can get from the consumer. Whereas when you're dealing with these people that are giving the letters in the mailbox as a wholesaler, they're giving you the wholesale price. So they're going to take the house, they're going to clean it up, they're going to empty it out, do any work that needs to be done, and then put it back on the market at a higher price in order to make their profit, right?
Okay.
So one of the things that we always encourage everyone is to get a second opinion. If you're thinking about going that route, which could be a good route for some people, depending on your situation, it doesn't cost you anything to get a second opinion from a realtor, especially if you have one that you know and you trust and you've worked with before. We have a lot of great realtors in Sarnia Lambton who would love to help you out and at least give you an idea of the market value, that full retail value for your house, even as is, even without doing work. And then they can
Right.
make any suggestions in terms of doing work or doing different things to improve the value, but at least get a second opinion on that current value the way it is now.
That makes total sense. And so this is real, but I'm guessing that this has some negative effect on, I would think seniors might be a target here. I would think somebody who's struggling financially right now might be a target market for this, but I'm feeling vulnerable and I'm looking for a way out, and I might give in to something like this. Is that kind of what's happening there too?
Yeah, we want to be aware of that, right? Obviously, because we don't want to have anyone targeted or taken advantage of, especially our senior community in Sarnia Lambton. So that's why we're encouraging everybody to at least get a second opinion, get a value, so a baseline going in. Because things have gone up so much the last couple of years, when someone comes in and tells you a number, whether it's one of these wholesalers or somebody else, it could be could sound very good and could be very surprising. Like you said earlier, Dave, I bought my house for $100,000 10 years ago, and now they're telling me 300,000. Sounds great, but if you have a realtor in that and you trust, and they give you the market value, it could be even higher than that, right? So you want to make sure that you have all the proper information to make an informed decision and do what's best for you at the end of the day.
And I want the most money I can get. Like, if I can get 500,000 for my house, why wouldn't I? I mean,
sure.
We all like the money, right?
Yeah.
Now, you talk about a second opinion here. Let me throw this. I'm going to pop this on you and see what kind of answer I can get from you. You talk about getting a professional opinion from somebody like, and trust. I get that. What happens now? I know a lot of real estate people, and I got to decide on which one to use to sell my house. And I'm sure you come across this a lot. Sarnia is a very sociable town, and everybody knows each other. How does one decide on a realtor if they've never used one before?
Yeah, and if you're in a situation like that, do your homework like anything else. There's a lot of information obviously available on the internet these days, where you can see a lot of background information. You can talk to friends and family that have dealt with a realtor. There's always someone in your life that's dealing actively, usually in buying or selling a home. So you can get good opinions, you can get good feedback from your family and your friends and your network. And don't be afraid to narrow it down to 2, 3, 4 people, and to talk to each of them and kind of interview them, right? And see which one might be the best fit for you. They can go through different things such as their marketing plan and all the things that they do for you to sell your home or to help you buy a home. And then you can make a decision based on who you think has the best skill set and who you're the most comfortable with moving forward, right?
Yeah,
so it never hurts to do that sort of interview process. And realtors are generally very, we understand, we're very respectful. And, when someone like you described in your situation, everybody going in, talking to a few people, making a decision you're comfortable with will always get respected. And we'll always be happy to see you dealing with a realtor and dealing with somebody that you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah. It's a real process. And I like that you say, don't be afraid to interview, like, hey, okay, you want to work for me, which I guess is at the end of the day, what I want you to do. I want you to work hard and get me the best price and best advice. And there's that kind of leads into my next part of this I want to talk about. There's a code, right? Like there's a realtor code that's there's integrity. There's a lot that goes on with dealing with a realtor, right?
For sure. Like, in dealing with a realtor, you're dealing with someone who has a code of ethics, for sure, that we are bound by. We have rules, we have regulations, we have bylaws, we have provincial and federal laws that we have to work under. So there's a lot more regulation, there's a lot more framework to control the situations versus when you're dealing with somebody like a wholesaler or those different examples we talked about earlier, where they're not necessarily bound by the same obligations, right? So they're not working in your best interest. A lot of times they're working in their best interest, right? Where you hire a realtor to do a job for you, we'll have paperwork and we'll walk you through all that process. And there is a framework and there is a code of ethics that we are working for you, and we're here to do the absolute best we can for you and represent you the best way we can, right?
Makes total sense to me. Why wouldn't you do that? Yeah. I've got a couple questions out here from our audience. One was already answered here, but let me see here. Dana says, so much has changed in real estate since I bought my first home. What is the minimum percentage for a down payment right now?
Yeah, so typically we are still seeing a minimum of 5% down. You can put anything from 5% and higher down payment in order to qualify for the CMHC insurance, which will be a big factor for a lot of people. You'll be looking at least 5% down, up to 20%. If you're putting more than 20% down, you will avoid the government CMHC mortgage insurance premium on your down payment, which is a little nice bonus if you can afford to put more than 20% down. But the minimum we'll see most of the times is 5%.
Okay, very good. And Jay Peckham, he was asking, I think we sort of already talked about it, like, okay, is it actually a good time to sell? Are there still deals to be had? Because I got to go live somewhere.
Yeah, well, the big thing is it's a good time to sell for sure. The right time, I always say, to make a move is when you're ready to make a move and it's right for your lifestyle, right? Don't let the market necessarily dictate when it's going to be a right time for you personally. In terms of deals is all a relative term, right? So there are still deals to be had out there in the current market. The problem I find, and we find as realtors a lot of times, people are very retroactive and they're comparing it to, like you said earlier, what 5 years or 10 years ago was. In the market currently, we're up about 40% on the median price year over year from last year again. So things are going up, easily 3% a month. So things are climbing pretty quickly. So the term deal can be a little bit relative in terms of what you think is a deal, right? But having a good realtor, even when you're buying a place, will help steer you in the right direction and give you all that information to make the right informed decision.
Right. There's always a deal to be had somewhere.
We'll always find you something.
Right. I'm going to take just a brief pause here, Rob. We got a short video that I want to play, and then we'll come back to you to wrap things up. Hang on.
Sounds good.
Here's a short video. Why you need to use your local realtor. Stay with us. All right. Well, there's a lot of great reasons to reach out to a professional realtor. They've done the hard work. They've done the studying. They know the laws, all that stuff that goes on to. You can just find the right one and just kind of, this is what I'm looking for, and go to work. Yeah,
absolutely. And we've got 250 fantastic realtors in Sarnia Lambton that would be happy to help you out for sure.
Perfect. Well, a lot of great information here, and I really appreciate you being here today, Rob. Thanks so much. I always like to give my guests one final chance if there was anything I missed that you want to add to the conversation.
I think we covered a lot, and as you said, like the video touched on, if anybody has any questions, talk to your family, talk to your friends. Everybody knows a realtor. Everybody has experiences with a realtor. I'm sure you can find some great referrals for some local people, and talk to them, and they'll be happy to help you out and give you the information and guide you through that process, because now more than ever it's getting a little bit complicated and stressful. So have a good realtor on your side and you'll be all set.
Fantastic. Rob, thanks again, and let's have you back in a few months and get some updates from you.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks, Dave.
Take care. Rob Longo, he's the president of the Sarnia Real Estate Board, joining us here today. Great information, and I hope that explains those letters. Not maybe, you're probably getting those letters in your mail, and why you should go get the best bang for your buck, I guess, and use a professional in the real estate world. And Rob Longo gave us a lot of great information. Thanks again, Rob, for being here. And thanks to all of you for your questions. I know I'll go back to the comments here one more time, see what we've got. So yeah, Jay, I hope that answered your question. And we've got Tyler out there, says great job. Thank you guys. And April, very good. And I think it would be good to have Rob back on a regular basis here, just to keep things updated. What's happening in the market? It's ever changing, right? And there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be known out there, and that just the knowledge alone would be like, okay, I need to find someone I know, like, and trust, and tell me why you're going to go to work for me and get me the best deal out there. Great information. It's just only one guest here today. I wanted to really focus on that and make sure that we got the information out there, because in talking to some other folks in the real estate world, this is really important. So that's why we wanted to focus on that today. But just before we go, I do want to remind you, last week we had Mark Moran here. He's the publisher of Day Tripping, and you can still find him online and find the local publication as well. And he's also got Welcome to the Club for 55 and older. I told him I can't read it because I'm not there yet. Jay Peckham's probably there. Just saying. He might still be. I'll know in a minute if he's going to be still here. Oh, Anna, thanks. Yeah, glad. It was really great information. So check him that out online. And yeah, don't bother Karen. I know her. Karen likes to. She's always. I have 2 or 3 that are watching from time to time, and they want to like say something in the comments, try to mess me up. Right? It's not going to work today. I'll just bow her right on. Okay, where was I? You did mess me up. Watch for motorcycles. They are out on the road. We've been out on the road a few times already. Myself and Jennifer, my son, ride motorcycles. A lot of our friends do. So be very aware, drive aware, ride aware out there, and keep an eye out on the motorcycles. And you folks riding the motorcycles as well, you got to be just as safe out there as well. Follow all the Highway Traffic Act laws, all that sort of stuff. At this point, last year I did my Ride of Respect. At this point, that's May 29th, and still looking at doing that as long as guidelines permitting, right? So we'll have to see about that, but keep an eye out for the motorcycles. And who else is out there? Julie J. Oh, Julie, yes. You're very, very welcome. It's important, right? And Shannon, you're very welcome. And Barb says, first time watching your show, very informative. I'm a realtor with the Sarnia Real Estate Board. And yeah, okay, well, there you go. Well, like I said, we'll have to see if we can do something to get Rob back here once a month. And keep coming back here. Now, listen, I love you guys watching, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you clicking the like and the love button. I'd really appreciate you clicking the share button. If you were going to click one thing, click the share button, share it to your social media, share it with your friends, your groups, whatever, to help the show grow. It really helps support me as well. And speaking of support, I'm very grateful to my ongoing supporters. Philly Cheese Jakes, what do you got to say about that guy? He's Sarnia's favorite restaurant a couple of times. And it's Jake Chersky. He's just cool. Active Ears Hearing Centers. Better Hearing Begins With You. Thank you, Christine Fiji. And Hughes Intelligence Security Specialist. Huron Signs and AG Event Graphics. Joe's Discount Tire. Don't let the name fool you. These guys do top quality work, but they got the best prices on tires. And our friend from Karen. I won't do it. Our friends from Oswald's local family restaurant as well, oswalds.com, to get their menus. They got multiple menus, delicious. They got macs and cheeses. They got sliders. They got anyway, it's just really good home cooked. Yeah, it's delicious. Okay, I'm hungry. I need something to eat now. Thanks for that. But I really am grateful for all of our supporters, and I'm grateful for all of you who support the show. It's coming up on 10 years in November, and some cool things planned for that. That's a little ways off, but 10 years. Should we have a big party somehow if we're allowed? Anyway, thank you so much to all of you for being here again. I do really appreciate you. Thanks again to my guest, Rob Longo, for joining me here today. And that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.